Alright, video 2 on finishing up on the nitrogen pressure test. I ran out of phone memory, and I deleted some videos and stuff to get some more time. 120 megs, and I still fill it up every couple months. So back to this. The way I've done it, if you've seen the way I braze, I'm always putting down a little bit of nitrogen as I'm brazing down the high side and flushing out the low side through the entire system, coming back up and coming out of the suction line, so there's a constant flow. When I put my copper together, nitrogen start brazing, the nitrogen keeps flowing. If I haven't finished brazing all my copper together and have plugs in it and stuff like that, I put my nitrogen on the lowest level while I go to lunch for a half hour, really low. I always keep a positive pressure inside my line. No big deal. Keep it clean, keep it tight, keep it dry. Then when I recover and bleed off the nitrogen, I will bleed it. I put it in on the high side, I'll shut that down and bleed it out on the low side. Keep up that continuous one-way flow. When I put it on the vacuum pump, I will start my vacuum on the low side and keep that continuous one-way flow. I started in dry and brazing from one side and chasing moisture nitrogen out, and I'll continue that pattern on with the vacuum. And then at the very last end, we will use the Blue Vac micron gauge and actually read this out over the overnight evacuation, and you can see how far it goes down. In theory, this was all brand new pipe. It got nitrogen through its whole life as it's getting cut open. It should be very dry. So when I put it on the vacuum pump, even though this is a 20-ton system right here, this one unit, and it has 20 tons, 3 air handlers downstairs attached to this, it should reach a very deep vacuum in a really fast amount of time. I think that's it. I'm going to start the nitrogen pressure test and come back tomorrow and tighten this test and enter. See you guys tomorrow. We'll get back to this and see where we're at. This pressure and temperature will go up and down as the night falls and the temperature falls and the gas gets cold and the copper pipes expand and contract in gas. The pressure will go up and down. I've left gauges on for 3 or 4 days on a system that was airtight, and I've watched it drop 8 or 9 or 10 psi, and then later on the day when it heats up, it goes right back up to where it was before. And if it got hotter, it went up a little higher, and then it went through the next day and the pressure would drop several psi below my start pressure. And again, keep repeating that cycle of going above my set pressure when I started to below, as long as the ambient temperatures kept going above where I started and below where I started. But they would always come back to the same set pressure that I started from when the same ambient conditions started. And in your booklet, when you have the units, they actually give you the math formula to figure out the pressure drop or gain by ambient conditions that you'll expect to see that are normal from just the contraction of the gas. And so there is a mathematical formula to figure it out, so don't be afraid of a little math. They spell it all out for you in the book. And if you can't